This is Defiant's Daily Dispatches for the Defiant. I'm your host, Miles Taylor. And listen, it's Friday, okay? It's Friday, which means if you are here with us right now, you are getting on a mechanical bull. And this thing, it might throw you off at any moment. I don't know if you're going to be able to hang on until the end, but I want you to hang on until the end because on Fridays, we do a lot of special things on this program. Yes, we are an organization that exists to answer the question, what can I do about corruption in this country and Trump's abuses of power? And every week, if you go to defiance.org, you'll find out we take real actions, no bullshit, real actions to fight back against the madness. But you know, we like to let our hair down a little bit on Fridays, and we go through the MAGA losses of the week. We go through the people who are the nominees for the Donald J. Trump Soulmate Award. And today is another one of those days where we're going to tell you who is the biggest bootlicker in Washington this week. But we're not going to tell you. You're going to tell us because you get to vote on who that is and help us notify that individual about what they're doing to destroy democracy. But we have a very special guest with us today, too. And that is someone who I think is ready to let her hair down with us. The incredible Jennifer Welch from the I've Had It podcast is going to be with us today. A big program. It's Friday here on Defiance Daily. And let me just say one thing. You hear this all over the web. Like my post, subscribe to my channel, share this with your friends. And you probably tune that out when you hear it. Don't tune it out. Please like, share, and subscribe what we are doing. You will help spread the defiance in this country by doing so. So right now, if you're on Substack and you see a heart button, come on, hit that heart button. If you're on YouTube, hit that like button, right? You feel the defiance getting stronger in this country when you do it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We are a nonprofit club for the courageous, and you are among them. I want to bring my Defiance.org co-founder, Xander Schultz, into the conversation here. Xander, I think you can tell I'm fired up that it's Friday. It's Friday, baby. You got the cowboy hat on.
Oh, you were saying we had to ride a mechanical bull, so I went and ran for it real quick, if that's the case. You need to be in proper attire for riding mechanical bulls.
Have you ever ridden a mechanical bull?
I have. It didn't go well.
Yeah,
I don't know if I don't know if I'm built for it physically.
It's a recipe for breaking your back.
It's insanely hard.
It is insanely hard. It is insanely hard. Well, I'm excited, my friend. I'm sure you are too, for our guest today. We've never had her on this program, and she's a total rock star.
I'm fired up. I'm fired up. Right. I'm fired up on Friday. Fridays are fun, man. It's where we get together and have a good time. And like the news can make it feel like we are losing because Trump is lobbing so many assaults at our democracy. So just going through the news can feel like that. It's really nice that we instituted this recap that basically confronts that lie and says, actually, no, if you follow up with each one of their efforts, they're kind of being thwarted at every turn by a myriad of our friends in the pro-democracy space, some of our grantees, and sometimes, our institutions like the courts, and then, more recently, sometimes Congress, sometimes the House, sometimes the Senate. It's nice. It's nice to follow up on all that.
It is. Well, I'm going to take us into one of those first stories before our guest joins us. And that is related to my former stomping ground, Xander, at the Department of Homeland Security. And before we get into the MAGA losses of the week, I want to talk about DHS because last night, after an all-night, what Congress calls vote-a-rama, the Senate approved roughly $70 billion in additional funding for DHS. Normally, I'd be cheering that on. Bad news bears. While Republicans had no problem finding another $70 billion for the agency, today's news cycle served as a reminder that many of them still had no idea what the hell is actually happening inside that department, which brings us to a remarkable whistleblower report published this morning by the Washington Post. According to a former senior Social Security Administration executive, DHS officials explored a plan that would have placed as many as 2.7 million living human beings into Social Security's death master file. Okay. The whistleblower says the goal was simple: make life so difficult for immigrants that they would either leave the country on their own or show up seeking help and end up in the hands of law enforcement. I am dead serious. That's what the report basically said. Now, if you've never heard of the death master file, don't worry. Most Americans have not. But if your name ends up in it, the government effectively tells the rest of society you are dead. Banks and lenders and employers, this person doesn't exist. Don't hire them. They are a fraudulent entity. And undoing that is not as simple as calling someone up on the phone and saying, hey, I'm still alive. It can turn your entire life into a bureaucratic nightmare. And to help explain why, we're going to go back to 2025 when an American citizen named Joyce Evans found herself on that list. Take a look.
In December of 2023, of very much alive, Joyce Evans received a strange letter from the federal government where she had worked for 30 years.
She received a letter from the Office of Personnel Management that she was dead and that her monthly pension benefits were to be stopped. She was not dead.
But the damage was already done. The Social Security Administration had put her name in what's called the death master file. Banks and insurance companies routinely run their records against that file in an effort to prevent fraud. So, one by one, like dominoes, every piece of Joyce's financial world came falling down.
Her house was foreclosed upon, her bank accounts were closed, and most importantly, her Medicare benefits were stopped. She was left without access to medications for a period of time and suffered greatly.
She couldn't eat, she couldn't sleep, she went into a major depression.
Evans wrote letters, filled out the relevant paperwork, visited the office, and made phone calls. Lots of them.
Every day. She was on the phone for 5 to 6 hours a day.
Even after the Social Security Administration acknowledged the error a month later, attorneys for Evans's family say the agency still failed to permanently remove the death record from her file. And so the issue persisted. She died 7 months after that first letter arrived.
Oh. What a horrible story. Jeez.
Insane. Totally insane. Now, Xander, the pain that Joyce and her family endured because of that clerical error, I mean, obviously hard enough to stomach. But according to this whistleblower, officials were considering using that same system, not on accident, but intentionally, right? So the Social Security Administration says the larger 2.7 million person plan, okay, it was never implemented. Thanks. You know, we're not worried that you didn't do it. We're worried that you even thought about doing it.
You're spending time cooking this shit up. 100%.
Yeah, well, the whistleblower said that a smaller version already was. More than 6,000 people were reportedly added to the database last year. And when he reviewed a sample of the larger list, that whistleblower says he found living people, including lawful permanent residents and senior citizens and teenagers, and even some U.S. citizens added to the death master file. Now, Xander, the reason that the death master file story is so disturbing on top of all of that isn't because it's dramatic. It's because it's paperwork. Something so mundane that they thought it would escape notice. And according to a federal judge, DHS spent the last year using a different kind of paperwork to trap thousands of immigrants, similarly in legal limbo. And according to AP News, that is this. Chief U.S. District Judge John McConnell struck down a Trump administration policy that had effectively frozen asylum claims, work permits, green card applications, and citizenship applications for immigrants from 39 countries. That policy was implemented after the shooting of 2 National Guard members last year. Remember, after that, the White House said there was a shooting there at the White House. They said, we're going to pause all applications, all green cards. Well, it's worth noting who got caught in that freeze. The list was overwhelmingly, of course, made up of people from Africa, Latin America, and the Middle East. And this upends their lives to have their paperwork paused. That means jobs. That means bank accounts. It means all kinds of things get put into limbo. And in a blistering opinion, Chief U.S. District Judge McConnell, who I mentioned, accused immigration officials of claiming powers they simply do not possess and said the administration was using pretextual national security concerns to implement that pause. He went on to say that the government had thrown the lives of these people into chaos through these rules, regulations, and freeze. And that ruling immediately restores those pathways for people who are trying to do exactly what DHS is always telling immigrants to do, follow the process and apply legally. So I'm telling you, these two stories today, 1-2 punch, Xander. And the Death Master File, I'm just going to tell you without being too specific. First time I ever heard about the Death Master File was I was dealing with a crazy stalker threatening our family out west, and someone who has spent their career in a spooky national security agency said half jokingly, you know how to make that stalker's life terrible? Get their name added to the Death Master File, and they'll spend the rest of their life trying to prove that they're still alive, right? That was a joke from someone. But again, someone in a spooky agency suggesting that is enough to tell you that this happening to an American would be catastrophic, let alone 2.7 million of them.
It's so funny when you think about oppression. You often think about like what happened in Minneapolis. You know, you think about the armed agents, you know, shooting citizens in the street if they disobey. But so much of oppression is often these little bureaucratic experiments and inventions. You know, you think about the history of what happened to Black people in this country post-slavery, between like the black codes and things that are even, you know, more quiet, like redlining, where they couldn't get mortgages in all sorts of neighborhoods and couldn't have access to home ownership. It's often these things. Robin White says, monstrous idea, monstrous experiment. Christy H says, horrible. Sky says, we need a guardrail for this one. Yeah, I think everyone in our comments here is disgusted by, I think to your point, Mouse, it's not just like the implementation. It's the fact that there's whiteboard rooms they go into to dream up this shit so they can figure out ways to make lives harder for people.
Yeah. Well, here's the good news, Xander, is we don't have to put up with this because these guys are losing every single day. And we are going to go into the most important segment on Fridays, which is the MAGA losses of the week. Every Friday we go through these. And this week we have a special guest to join us for the losses. And joining us now is the incredible Jennifer Welch, who is co-host of the incredible hit podcast, I've Had It, New York Times bestselling author and professional MAGA eye roller. Jennifer, welcome to Defiance Daily.
Hey.
Hi, guys. Thank you so much for having me. I love to celebrate these L's with you all on a Friday afternoon.
Yeah, what a day to have you. It's the best that you're joined on Friday. It's great.
Yes.
Jennifer, I got to tell you, we've got some people on the team geeking out about the fact that this is the day you were joining us. Not only do they love you, which we all do, they're like, Fridays, best day to have Jennifer Welch. And here's where I want to start, my friend, because it is, as you know, it's officially Pride Month, and judging by our first two losses of the week, some people are handling that better than others. And I want to ask you about that. So we're going to start with pardoned January 6th rioter Jake Lang. No stranger to being a, how should I say this softly? A shithead. And you're going to see why. We clearly don't support his hateful rhetoric in the name of MAGA. But one upside to this endless political stunt these people put on is that they have a tendency to backfire in spectacular fashion. And earlier this week, Lang traveled to Newark to counter the protests surrounding Delaney Hall. And his plan, climb on top of a U-Haul and burn a pride flag. The problem is that Jake once again ran into his greatest political opponent, which is reality. And more specifically, the wind. Jennifer, take a look. Pouring the lighter pouring the water in there.
This is painful on so many levels. This is the worst version of the attention economy on like every level. Just who it elevates, what it makes them do. He's got it briefly, and it's gone.
Jennifer, these people are just total losers. And I love how our producer changed his voice on there. A small voice for a small man, she says. But this also comes, Jennifer, on the heels of, a report, 92 January 6thers who I think have recently been arrested for other crimes. What the hell's going on here?
Well, I think as it pertains to the person on top of the U-Haul, I would say, tell us you're gay without telling us you're gay. Because Betty, who immediately a heterosexual who personalizes Pride Month as an affront to their sexuality is not secure in their sexuality. It's just their sexuality must be built on a house of cards. This would be the guy that would say homosexuality is a choice. And by saying that, he doesn't realize it's a cell phone and saying that he is choosing.
He's actively choosing.
That's my favorite. When people say it, I'm like, oh, okay. But, the triggering of all of the people with Pride, I can't remember who was it, Congressman Ogles, who said that homosexuality has no place in the United States. And Ted Cruz comes out and he's like, actually, gay people have been around forever. So there's really strange things going on with the White House. The president's always talking about how hot he thinks everybody is.
He does say that a lot.
It's weird.
It's very weird.
His interior design projects. He's always like that UFC fighter. He's like, God, you're too good looking to be in this one. Okay.
We also did you see that he posted
yesterday?
yesterday? He posted that picture of him as like the like high school football star, and then
So
behind
good.
it was all of these shirtless male cheerleaders, like
Pom-poms.
ripped and greased up. He posted that on his account. He is absolutely the most homoerotic president Americans have ever had. I think Donald Trump is the first gay president.
I do too. Do you remember on the campaign trail when the sound was off and he simulated giving the microphone a blowjob with striking familiarity? Do you remember that, you guys? Any other president, that's the end of your campaign. And this was on the foothills of him talking about the size of Arnold Palmer's penis really enthusiastically to a crowd. And then he talks about, I celebrate the gay national anthem with YMCA. And let me tell you guys what we have to do to be the best allies this Pride Month. When this guy dies or when he's out of office, we're taking YMCA back. We have to take it back.
Your point about
we're taking YMCA back.
We have to get it back.
I have to say, I had, unfortunately, a good bit of firsthand experience with this. Anytime we took the president to meet with frontline officers, Jennifer, you would have him have these types of conversations, whether it was on camera or not. It was so weird to have to explain to agents what was going on. He'd show up at the border, and it was known, like White House Advance would have like the beefier or like the cut looking agents lined up in front, and Trump would go up and he'd literally touch them and go, oh my God, you look like you're straight out of Central Casting. And the way he said it just felt so weird. What is this guy doing? And it was, I'm just one person who witnessed this like a lot of times, is him showing up, touching male law enforcement agents and being like, you look so good. You look like you're straight out of Central Casting. I'm just saying, he should just come out and own it.
Final piece of evidence. In the Epstein files, there is a note. There's a note that says, ask him if Putin has the photos of Trump blowing Bubba. Bubba doesn't sound like the most feminine name.
Here's the thing,
sorry, I don't know who Bubba
Bill
is.
Clinton's nickname.
Here's what, and also Ghislaine Maxwell had a horse named Bubba. And then there's some Texas oil guy named Bubba that is some big oil and gas dick that hangs out at Mar-a-Lago.
You said
So there was
had a
three
horse named Bubba?
Ghislaine Maxwell had a horse named Bubba. Yeah, I did a deep dive into this. Because number one, I love a gay Republican scandal. I love it. It's one of my absolute favorite things on the planet. I'm like, inject this shit into my veins. And when Donald Trump simulated the blowjob, and then I had a conversation a long, long time ago, like during the DNC with Michael Cohen, and then another conversation with Anthony Scaramucci, and they're both like, everybody's like, oh yeah, everybody thinks he's gay. And I'm just like, it makes so much sense because he has all of this hostility towards women. And then with men, it's like, who was that football player that was there the other day? And he's like, look at the thighs on him. And I'm just like, what are we doing here? And then everybody surrounding him, kind of worshiping him all the time. It's the most, if it's not gay, they're at least happiest in homosocial relationships all the time. Like they fired all the women. It's just an interesting case study. I believe, you guys, that Trump with the dementia is in his deathbed confession era. And we all have had old relatives who were like, well, you know, Miles, I always liked you better than your sister, like some old grandma or something in the nursing home. Well, Trump, it's all coming out. I hate hanging out with winners. I like hanging out with losers. And he says this like in front of all of his cabinet. You just calling them all losers. He's been Can I cuss on here?
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, he's been rat fucking Marco Rubio, talking about what a loser not Marco Rubio, JD Vance. I mean, has set him up for failure. And I think all of this stuff is just slipping out all the time because he has full blown dementia. And I think this because he is asleep nonstop during the day. And he's up on a meme bender all night. And if I did an AI search, because mainstream media doesn't have a doctor on TV to explain, like, this is a 911, and this is what people with dementia do.
It is what people with dementia do. Yeah.
Lori in our comments says, FC's brother said it wasn't Clinton. I'm betting it was the horse. Dr. Eric Lolov says, bet she has a Grindr account. Yeah, we might be onto something. It does feel like it's a guy cosplaying as a straight guy. It's like, you know, he saw, you know, straight guys in high school. It's like, don't they love gold and supermodels? And like, it's just, it does have that feeling at times. That's funny.
Hey, look, I will say, all I ever saw him do behind the scenes was criticize with women versus men things, criticize women's appearances. Okay. I worked with multiple women in that administration who had to suffer through Trump saying they looked tired and the makeup was bad and the lighting was bad and the clothes I mean, constantly, like you said, Jennifer, critiquing women and always saying to guys, ooh, look at his hair, you know, look at that smooth flow on that one. Ooh, you know, Steven, look at your nice tights. Just come on, man.
Well, remember Zoran, you guys? Do you remember Zoran and that guy? He's some right-wing MAGA guy that's in the press. I think it's like Pasibiak, something like that.
Yeah, he loves him.
He's in there, and Zoran, and you know, Trump is like drooling and he's smiling, and they're like, "Do you still think Trump's a fascist?" And Zoran's like, and he's like, "Say it. Go ahead and say
it's
it."
All right.
Easier that way, just staring at him. And Zoran's like, "Yeah, I do." And then that Jack Pasibiak, or whatever the hell his name, and this big MAGA thumper, he storms out. Like, he packs up his toys and he storms out because they wanted him to rip into Zoran. Yeah. But I don't know if y'all have met Zoran in person. He's very good looking. He has Riz out the wazoo, has that like it factor that radiates off of him. And he had Trump sitting in the palm of his hand. It's just all evidence kind of keep going back to this. And here's what I love about it the most. MAGA has propped up this form of like toxic masculinity. And then it's like every time we get a report of a Turning Point rally, you know, the Grindr's crashing, Charlie Kirk's funeral, Grindr's crashing, Trump's telling everybody how hot he thinks they are. And I'm just like, you guys,
the Turning Point USA, it's a Grindr crashed.
Well, I'll say, I think for national security reasons, we have figured out how to keep Donald Trump awake in the Oval Office. We just need to put a hot guy in there in the Oval Office. Every time there's a meeting, put him in front of the desk, keep the president awake and paying attention. Okay, Jennifer, I want to take you into the next one, because if that guy we mentioned earlier, Jake Lang, flag burner on top of the U-Haul, who had all of 2 people in the audience cheering him on, if he learned that the wind had consequences, our next contestant this week learned that the internet does too. Earlier this week, a creator I know you and I both enjoy, Nathan June, stumbled across a recent college graduate who had spent part of her online MAGA-loving career posting homophobic content. Now, Nathan could have simply called her out and moved on. Instead, he decided to offer what I would describe as a free lesson in modern reputation management. Take a look.
Notice that if you Google search something, or specifically somebody's name, sometimes a video is the first thing that shows up, maybe second or third, and that is specifically a social media post. Now, why does this happen? That is because of search engine optimization, SEO. Now, as a marketer, I know a lot about SEO, and what I can tell you is that the more views that a video gets, and those views come from engagements, from likes, from reshares, from reposts. And oftentimes it doesn't matter the platform that the video was posted on, the search engine optimization will lift up those videos so that if you Google search somebody's name, this might be the first thing that pops up. Now, why does search engine optimization matter if you are, say, somebody who has just graduated from college and maybe you are searching for your next steps in your career? Well, that is because recruiters at companies often will Google your name as soon as you apply because they just want to do a quick background check. And sometimes they might see something that might be negative about you. And that thing that's negative about you might have been because a lot of people looked at the video and shared it. And a disaster scenario might also happen where you actually decided not to purchase the domain to your name and you decided that you're just going to leave it free and open and maybe somebody else decided to purchase it under you.
What a boss. Okay, it gets better, Jennifer, because before the show, I was really curious whether this actually worked. So I asked our producer to Google this woman's name who was posting all of this anti-gay, pro-MAGA content. Mercedes, can you pull that up? Let's see if we've got it here. Test drive.
I'll keep the energy high.
Okay. We don't have, Well, here's the thing. Google it, Jennifer, and guess what? What's the second result? Nathan's video. It worked.
Oh no, his video is now the second video.
Yeah, only to discover your second biggest accomplishment on Google is a stranger explaining the obviously homophobic things you have posted.
Oh, there
we are. It is trending under her name. That's tough. Now, to be fair, nobody forced her to post any of this. Nathan didn't create the content. Google didn't create the content. She created the content. The internet just kept the receipts. I feel like we see this all the time now, Jennifer, is these people who think that they're going to dunk on the left. They dunk very hard on themselves.
I love this. I love this. I want to just say, like, I want woke to be back, and I kind of want cancel culture back. I kind of miss it. Like her, I want her to be canceling in this way, like public shaming, because this gal, I saw her Instagram profile and it has the typical like Christian and a Bible verse on it. And then you dive into all of her content and she's just judging and hating and being terrible towards people. And this is something I think MAGA does. I grew up in Oklahoma City in the Bible Belt, and they use their faith both as a weapon and as a shield. And so they do all this stuff, and then they Christian signal to say, oh, this is okay. They accuse the left of virtue signaling, which sometimes the left does that. I mean, to be fair, nobody does anything like Christian signaling. Think about little Moses Mike Grinder Johnson, which is my official nickname for the Speaker of the House. He's always Christian signaling, always. I mean, he's sucking up to Trump. You know, I was on the stream before you put me in. I was in the green room. All of these, harassments, like you were talking about oppression, and all of these paperwork means that the government can oppress people and make their lives miserable. Moses Mike signs up for every single ounce of that. And then he just goes in front and he's like, well, the Lord this and God that. And I think it's so insidious because for so many people in America in small towns, the church is their only place of culture. It's where they go to bingo night, cakewalks, and they weaponize it against them. And I just think it's so horrible. And the Republicans have done this for a long time.
They have in
Southern strategy. It's like, a big project of theirs for a while.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, I want to take you, Jennifer, to the next MAGA loss of the week. I know you've been tracking this one closely on your program as well, which is they're not celebrating Pride Month. They're trying to celebrate in very Trumpian fashion Freedom 250 in America's 250th birthday. And of course, leave it to Donald Trump to make the most important anniversary of the United States of America and just totally break it over his leg by making it all about himself. And of course, all of the big name performers who are going to be a part of this have been bailing left and right. But then it got weirder this week. And this is one of my favorite MAGA losses of the week, because as comedians began digging into why so many acts were bailing and why these different strange performers were all connected to this same event, they discovered a common denominator and an unfortunate detail about one of the talent recruiters helping to book performers. Jon Stewart explains.
Freedom Williams ranting about our murderous nation and our president with his in his hand is the weirdest thing about how this concert is coming together. Guess again.
According to CNN, quote, the concert lineup was heavily tilted toward legacy acts, and many of them shared the same booking agent in Jeff Epstein of Universal Attractions.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
No.
What the f***? Jeff Epstein of Universal Attractions is in charge of, forgive me, recruiting talent for a Donald Trump party? That's what you're telling me?
It's like Four Seasons Total Landscaping all over
Like on
again.
steroids.
They
Totally
act crazy themselves. I never think they can get dumber or crazier, and they always impress me with their ability to out crazy and out stupid the last thing that they did. It's incredible. It really is. They're undefeated at this.
You can't hire that guy. He could be the best booking agent in the world. You can't hire that guy. You
No,
get,
and
or
he
you
needs
have
to
to
go change his
demand he
name.
change his name before you hire him. One of those two things has to happen.
Well, Jennifer, I know
Wild
we've
move.
got to let you go shortly. This next one, this last MAGA loss for the week, I am hoping somewhere in the next 7 days, you're in Washington, D.C., and I'm in Washington, D.C., because there may be a really special moment for us to go celebrate together. And I'll tell you why. You followed the news, we all did, of a federal judge ruling that Trump's name must come down from the Kennedy Center. But because of reporting in the Atlantic, we learned it was even more than that, that the lawyers at the Kennedy Center are instructing staff to immediately take it all off, take the Trump name off of everything, official documents and branding materials and social media accounts and email signatures and voicemail greetings. They're saying, that's it, Trump name, Kennedy Center, totally break them apart. And by June 12th, all of that has to be changed, including the physical signage, which means somewhere in Washington in the next 7 days, there are employees whose literal job will be erasing Donald Trump's name from that building. Who said he didn't do anything for job growth, right, folks? He's got these people taking his name off the building. So, Jennifer, my question for you, you going to be in D.C. in the next 7 days? Can we sneak over to the Kennedy Center and watch this happen or celebrate the little, place where it was?
Miles, you text me and I'll take the train down and we'll go live and we'll watch them chisel off the TRUMP and we will celebrate and just have the best time, because I think that whoever runs in 28, they need to run on just the pettiest destruction of all of the vanity projects. And I want it all live streamed. I want everything, all of the Marie Antoinette, Liberace gay shit he has in the Oval Office. I want all of that to come down. I want it all live streamed. Every single bit of it has to come down. I also think a heavy deep clean in the White House will be in order, particularly in the master bedroom, because it's my understanding that he's laid up there all the time. And there's rumors on Elon Musk's free speech website, because everybody knows he's not a good speller and terrible at punctuation, that Natalie Harp, the human printer, is up there when he's doing all of this, re-lying all night long, fluffed up eating McDonald's all night. Per his last physical, he's put on some weight, about 15 pounds. And so in Trump
tip-top shape,
it's about 30. Yeah. So definitely we have to celebrate all of this and reclaim. We have to get YMCA back. We have to get the flag back. We're going to turn the reflecting pool back to black, dedicate it to all Black Americans. I mean, it's just, we have to be really, really serious about destroying every single thing he tried to put his fingerprints on. His teeny tiny little teeny fingerprints, little hands.
We are going to be ready to do it, my friend.
Of cleaning the White House. Damien says lots and lots of sage, LOL. Dawn
Yes.
says fumigation the White House.
Yeah,
People are liking
exactly.
that.
Well, I will say, Jennifer, I messaged the journalist at the Atlantic who broke that story about the signage, and I said, please, could you give me the heads up if you know which night they're going to go? Because they're going to do it at night. Which night are they going to go take the paint spatula thing out there and, flick the letters off? Because I need to be there. So I'll let you, you'll be the first to know if I get a heads up on when that's going to happen. But I know we've got to let you go. The incredible Jennifer Welch, we're so grateful to have you with us. We'll have you with us on one of the self-serious days as well. But thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, this was
Friday,
so
my friend.
fun. I love this. This is so fun. And I'll get my night vision goggles and see you in DC.
All right.
Rock and roll. Jennifer Welch.
I'll see you, Jennifer.
Thank you.
Bye, guys. Everybody have a great weekend. Thanks for having me.
You too.
Thank you. Miles,
She is
before we
the
go to
best.
the next section, quick DTC to whoever's working on that site.
Yeah.
We will pay you for those letters. We will buy those letters. If somehow you are working on that site and can smuggle them off site,
if you're allowed to
Defiance. You don't have to do it, but if you have the opportunity and make sure the word gets out, we will buy those letters and
we want those letters. We want those letters, and we're gonna have a great bonfire with them. But even less than that, if you see any tip anywhere about when this is going to happen, we know it's going to happen in the next 7 days. I just don't have the luxury of camping out in a tent outside the Kennedy Center waiting. So if you have any tips, send them to us.
You know who might is our friends at Flair. Our friends at Flair are camping out, having 24-hour parties in DC.
They are. Oh my God.
We should check
Xander, while we're on here, you should send them a text message. Let's see if we can put them on rapid response out at the Kennedy Center, folks. It's all happening here. It's happening live. It's happening live. While you're doing that, Xander, I'm going to take us in because we got an award show to run right now. We got an award show today, and do we have the voting mechanism up?
We do.
Oh, that's good. Oh, that's going to be good. All right, let me tell people about this first, because some people might be with us for the first time. We launched something a couple of months ago. Very, very serious, very important, bigger than the Nobel Peace Prize that Donald Trump wants so badly. We launched the Donald J. Trump Soulmate Award, SOLEMATE. Why Soulmate? Well, because Donald Trump has a favorite shoe. And according to the Wall Street Journal, this shoe, the Florsheim shoe, he gives to his little supplicants. He guesses what their foot size is, and he gives it to them. And take a look there at that photo. You can see that clearly those supplicants are wearing the shoes Trump gives them. They're all wearing the same black $145 pair of Florsheim shoes because the president wants them to, which you can't overstate the symbolism of the lieutenants of a wannabe despot wearing the clothes he wants them to wear. Now, we suspected, Xander, that there are probably a bunch of people in Washington who want to outdo each other in fawning over Donald Trump and his dictatorial agenda. And we don't want them to miss out on getting a pair of Donald's shoes. And so we decided to take it upon ourselves to every week, every Friday, award a pair of those shoes to someone who deserves it. Now, we were actually sending these to the winners, and unfortunately, they were returning them, like CNN's Trump lover, Scott Jennings, sent his shoes back. I guess the size 6.5 didn't fit him. So he sent those back. So now what we're doing with the Soulmate Award is we're going to lay out the nominees. You're going to have a chance to vote. And then whoever wins, we want you to make sure that they know that they won. You don't need to go harass them. You don't need to say means. You just need to go take a screenshot or a picture of the victor and go post it in their social media comments and say, congratulations, you won the Donald J. Trump Soulmate Award. A big thanks to Chris, a Defiance.org member who did the artwork there at the top for the Donald J. Trump Soulmate Award.
Yeah,
if you want to go check out the nominees, here's who you can vote on this week. And we're going to walk through each reason why before you vote. But maybe you already know and you already want to vote. Go to, I think it's soulmate.vote. Is that right, Xander?
Soulmate.vote. SOLEMATE.
SOLEMATE.vote. You can go there right now and you can see who the nominees are. We're going to start off this week with nominee number 1, Dave Rubin. If you don't know who David Rubin is, you're definitely not alone, but you might be able to recognize him from his star appearance as that one MAGA idiot on a Jubilee video, a place where MAGA tried to change my mind martyrs come to die. And David was no exception. You know, you'd think if you were coming on a video to defend one of the most corrupt presidents in the history of the United States, you'd probably prepare one good thing to say about the guy. But take a look at Dave Rubin's appearance.
What is one main metric that Donald Trump has made better off since he got in office? So like an example would be GDP, unemployment, inflation, et cetera.
Well, right now, first off, the big beautiful bill was just passed last year and it's kicking in now, right? It's kicking in now. Okay, so we're going to now see results of that, like even the tariffs. All right, so let's do tariffs. Are you for or against tariffs?
Against the universal tariff. So what's the main metric that he made better off?
What?
What's the main metric that he made better off? GDP, unemployment, inflation? Do you have any idea?
Unbelievable.
Listen.
Listen, I don't think you do.
I know. I'm in trouble when I leave with that.
You're arguing that things economically were better under Joe Biden
At the end of his administration, absolutely.
Yeah. So can you give me an example of how?
Yeah, GDP growth was better off.
All
Real
the
median
metrics.
wage growth was better off.
Every
Inflation was
metric
better off
I
at the end of
just
his
mentioned.
administration.
Just
Unemployment was
listed.
better off at the end of his administration. We had the worst year of job growth in the past 4 years, just this last year under Trump's administration. The inflation, 3.8% year over year since Trump got in office. We're seeing all of those economic indicators become worse off. Can you tell me anything that he's done to make it better off? You say it's broken for Democrats. It sounds like it's broken right now under Trump.
Have you looked at the stock market?
It's worse off in terms of growth in 2025 as compared to 2024. If you look at Dow Jones and S&P 500.
Guy came
They're
ready.
both-
Damn.
Man, he came so ready. Dave Rubin. So he's a nominee this week for the Soulmate Award. But I gotta say, he didn't defend the big guy very well.
No, he did almost, I don't think intentionally, but he almost did a bad job of bootlicking because he
know,
was so
that's-
unprepared for that.
That's why we're giving him a nickname this week. We're calling him Dave Jubilee Dumpster Fire Rubin. That's what we're calling him. And he may just deserve it because everyone who walks around in those Donald Trump clown shoes does exactly what Dave did, which is act like a total clown. So that's nominee number one. I'm going to go to nominee number two, Xander, who many of you will think I'm making this up, but I'm not making this up because I served in the first Trump administration with this person, and her name is Caroline Sunshine. She is a Disney star. A former Disney star has been turned into a personal Trump shoe cleaner. Caroline Sunshine went on CNN this week fighting tooth and nail to defend Donald Trump and explain away his anti-weaponization slush fund. I want you to take a look.
There's a lot we're going to disagree on, but on the topic of the slush fund and answering to the president, I think we should agree on the facts. And what the facts are is that the creation of this fund, it's not a slush fund, it's an anti-weaponization fund. Why do we have the fund?
Okay.
Why do we have the fund? I think because there are a number of people who have felt the full weight of the weaponization of the government.
He said this week
That's
when he was asked about the fund, he said, "I'm proud I pardoned these people and they deserve money from the government."
Yeah,
That's
because
what
we
he
had
wants the fund
grandmas
to
who
be
were in
about.
jail for 2 years. We had people who did not commit violent crimes while we watched people
Well,
in
there are
BLM
many
riots
people who did
in Minnesota and watched
violent
Democrats put
crimes.
up links saying donate
There
to
are
religion
many
from jail.
people who did commit violent crimes, and the president himself has said that he wants them to be compensated.
This is a joke.
I'm not
And
just talking about.
I'm really embarrassed for you that you have to defend this because even Republican senators on the Hill are saying that this is ridiculous.
Oh, man. Woo! Got Caroline Sunshine. You know, Xander, she was a White House aide in the first administration. And I will just say this. I can't give too much of this away, but I was involved not too long ago in helping to craft a satirical show about the West Wing. And there may or may not have been some remarkable inspiration drawn from Caroline Sunshine. So it means our second nominee is Caroline. I'm embarrassed for you, Sunshine. We're very proud to put her on the list this week. She clearly was auditioning very hard on CNN for a pair of those Donald J. Trump Florsheim shoes. Xander, our third nominee is someone who we all know already has a pair of these shoes. Okay. But we have the Secretary
He's
of
got
State,
a real
Marco
pair.
Rubio. It feels like he's auditioning every week for more pairs of those shoes. And he was put on the spot in front of Congress to answer the question everyone's been dying to know. Why does the president keep falling the fuck asleep in meetings, in the Oval Office, everywhere? And more importantly, why does he fall asleep when you're talking, Secretary of State Rubio? Now, Rubio's response
That's a
definitely
harsh
secures
question.
him as the third nominee because listen, in the shoe liquor category, and more importantly, just let's in just take a look at the segment. Just take a look at the segment.
I've never seen him fall asleep. On the contrary, the guy doesn't sleep, which is a big problem because he calls me at 2 a.m. He calls me at 5 a.m. And, you know, I like to sleep a little bit, maybe not 12 hours, but at least 6. So he works. The other day he was at the Oval Office until 12:30 p.m. 12:30 a.m. I don't know what you're talking about.
Secretary Rubio, I'm going to show you in a moment a video that shows you just lied to Congress.
Oh, okay.
So this
No
is a
shit. We
video
all
of a
see
cabinet
it.
meeting literally from last month where Donald Trump is sleeping while you are talking. Please show this video.
Coalition of countries
been on
that
fire
line up
lately.
behind the peace deal, behind the border peace, and it's still every day is a challenge. But it's been driven personally by the president. It's the reason why we're involved in this whole Ukraine-Russia conflict. That's not our war. It's not the president's war. This war started. It never would have happened if you've been president. But this war is going on, and the president is trying to end it.
You are literally talking about issues of war and peace, and Donald Trump is sleeping right next to you.
No, he's not.
If Donald Trump cannot stay awake at these important meetings where the cameras are rolling, imagine what he's like when the cameras are not there.
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask you, have you been at classified meetings where Donald Trump has fallen asleep or had trouble staying awake?
meeting. I've never been at any meeting where, and the things you're showing me now, he was not falling asleep. And I think
so
it's
you're
outrageous
lying
that I'm before
again.
the Foreign Affairs
You're lying
Committee of the United States
consistently
House of Representatives
to
asking questions
Congress.
about sleep.
What I loved is when Ted Lieu was like, I mean, you're lying to Congress right now. Here's the proof.
He also did the thing that he did the thing that we're always asking him to do, which is just bring the proof, like hold it up to them and make them confront the proof. I think there's better videos than that out there of Trump really fully knocked out too.
I mean, even since then, today, there's this amazing video of him just zonked that is going across social media, completely falling asleep in these meetings. There is health stuff going on with the president of the United States. Even if there wasn't mountains of evidence of it, his own Secretary of State was just sitting there and saying Donald Trump never sleeps. That's a problem. No one has the superpower. Any doctor in the world will tell you the most important thing you can do for your health, above exercise, above healthy eating, is what? Sleep. Sleep. Donald Trump doesn't do it. And no surprise, he sounds like a broken animatronic toy from the 1960s. He totally sounds broken. And he's leading the free world. So our final nominee tonight, Xander, for obvious reasons, is Marco Bedtime Donnie Rubio. And those are the three nominees, folks. So we want to know who is at the top of your list. We're going to give you another minute or so to vote. So head over to soulmate.vote, SOLEMATE, soulmate.vote, and cast your vote for who the winner is. Xander, before we announce who it is, I want to know who your winner is. If you had to vote on here, who gets it? Caroline Sunshine, Marco Rubio, or Dave Rubin this week?
Such a good question. Yeah, I wrote down the word arrogance when I was watching those first two videos because Caroline and Dave both knew what they were headed into. And you can only explain being that unprepared in that setting with arrogance. You know Caroline knows she's going to CNN to defend the slush fund. Dave knows he's going to this 20v1 conversation and doesn't have I could have done better than Dave. You can point at illegal immigration, which has gone down because Trump's been a horrific person that's tortured and traumatized communities. It's gone down, but you can at least say illegal immigration has gone down this year. It's just, there's so much arrogance on their side of the equation from at least that pundit influencer class. But I think it's got to be Marco, only because he's been such a shapeshifter. Marco, we've seen a pre-Trump Marco Rubio, and the guy, say what you will about the guy. I asked you one time, coming out of the 2016 field, who was most interesting to you when Trump emerged victorious? And you said Marco. Marco is an interesting guy with interesting ideas, coming out of that. And to see him transform into this Rasputin type of suck up to dear leader has been incredible. So he deserves the award almost as a lifetime achievement award as much as he does this week for me.
I gotta say, my winner is look, for me, I don't know what the audience says. It's Marco Rubio. He deserves so many pairs of those shoes. And I gotta say, that has a real sting to it for me because Marco Rubio was my 2016 candidate. I mean, in the GOP, he's who I was rooting for to win. He was the person that I was grateful was criticizing Donald Trump so vigorously, so honestly. He represented to me at the time the future of the Republican Party, a more moderate Republican Party, a bolder, inclusive Republican Party, a better Republican Party. And now his story arc is contorting himself completely to be a Donald J. Trump Soulmate Award winner, I think. And I'll just say, that's not just me, someone who used to work with him and his team on Capitol Hill. A lot of Marco Rubio's former staff and extended team members feel the same way as I do, that he's a sellout. So, without further ado, let us see who won the Donald J. Trump Soulmate Award this week. What are the final results, Xander? I don't even know how.
If you go to soulmate.vote and hit past winners, for some reason he ended up there on our website. If you go to past winners on the top right on the nav bar, Mercedes, you'll see it on the top right there. Click it. You'll see Mr. Rubio as our reigning champion with 65.4% of the votes. Pretty dominant winner so far. Bessent got 77% last week. Rubio was 65% this week. He is our Soulmate Award winner.
Here is my recommendation, folks. You should take a screenshot of this right now or go over to that website, soulmate.vote, go to past winners, and just go post it. That's it. Again, you don't even have to be mean. This will do all of the talking. Just go put it in Marco Rubio's comments on the State Department Twitter account or Substack account or wherever you can find Marco Rubio's accounts. Let him know you're proud of him, that he is an award winner. Go drop that in there this week. Xander, no one more deserving. What I think is funny about this is we've had a lot of nominees, but the two recent winners since we've got the website are people who very obviously already have a pair of these shoes. And apparently it's not enough. It's not enough for Donald Trump to say, you've done everything I've asked. Here's a pair of shoes I want you to wear. They just keep auditioning.
Yeah. It's incredible. Also, one thing I was thinking about this week, Miles, is like before Trump, there was this idea of FU money or FU power, where it's like at a certain level, you don't have to suck up to anyone. You have the benefit because you don't have to worry about where your money's coming from. You don't have to worry about your career. You have the benefit of standing by your principles. And the Trump era has almost shown exactly the opposite, that those people get addicted to their standing in society, their money, their power, and actually become, more cowardly than a lot of people that have a lot less legs to stand on are. We've seen everyday people sacrifice real safety, real job security. We just were talking to the FBI and DOJ groups yesterday that are helping people come out and talk about what's going on over there and blowing the whistle. So apparently that was it. That was a myth, the FU power, FU money myth. And that these people are just deeply addicted to being seen and heard and have deep holes in their soul that will never be filled. And it causes them to act like complete cowards. And in this case, bootlickers.
Well, if you want good news, it's that not everyone wants to audition for these shoes. And I will say we have seen a very unexpected mix of people say, you know what? It's not worth it. It's not worth it to do everything to suck up to this guy to get a crappy pair of shoes. I'm going to stand on principle, whether it's the Thomas Masseys or, the Marjorie Taylor Greens or whoever it is, and whatever you think their reasoning is, they've got balls. And standing up against this administration at a point in which the president of the United States is engaged in a historic revenge campaign, you got folks within the party that continue to break ranks, and it's making a difference. So my message to all of our nominees this week would be, if you want to be on the right side of history, stop auditioning for shitty shoes and go back to your principles. That's what I would say.
I like that. As a closing lesson for the week.
This is the first time, Xander, we'll come in right at time. That is our episode this week, folks. We are so grateful for everything Defiance.org members have done. We had a fantastic monthly member meeting this week. We are energized by ideas on how to fight back. You must join us at a minimum next week for our weekly mission brief on Wednesday at 5 p.m. Eastern, where we will announce our next action to fight back against Donald Trump's corruption. Be there, and be there with us every night next week at 5 p.m. Eastern for more episodes of Defiance Daily, where we talk about how we're fighting back against all of this craziness. Xander, we got a big week next week. We're going to go recharge our batteries, but what do we always say to folks in the meantime? We tell them to stay loud, stay brave, and stay together. We'll see you Monday.
See you.